quick disclaimer, this is all my opinion. The film is good, just when you're comparing this film to the animated counterpart, it falls into the question of why. And we all know why. Ding ding ding, money. And the purpose of these videos are not to have you dislike the film, alright? If you enjoy the film, hey, God bless you. I'm not going to take away that joy from you, alright? I'm just letting out my frustrations of the film for people online to hear, alright? If you don't want to hear it, you may happily leave and carry on life. Alright, let's begin by saying this. Why did you remove the Fishbone joke? Why did you remove the Fishbone joke? I just remembered that right before recording this. I'm like, there is one scene that I don't remember being in the live action that was in the OG. What was it? The Fishbone joke. If you don't know what joke I'm talking about this. Apologies if I don't execute it very well. The accent. Hey, barmaid, I'm afraid you got me the wrong offspring. I ordered an extra large boy with beefy arms and extra guts and glory on the side. This here is a talking fishbone. That one. Why remove that? I know. They tried to tone the film, make it more serious in comparison to the animated version. Alright, I get it. How is that joke too comedical for the film? How? It's not that comedical. It's just Hiccup mimicking his father on how he sees Hiccup as a mistake. Okay, that's a bit too much. Not a mistake, but like, actually, he does see him a mistake. Well, that's how Hiccup interprets it, right? That's what Hiccup thinks, his father thinks. It's a serious moment. It's funny, yes, but it's also, it's just Hiccup letting out his frustrations. Hiccup upset, right? In the live action, it's not there. Instead, we got a regular conversation between him and Galber. Something that I don't remember, nor do I bother to remember. The only thing I remember is the final line. Hiccup says, I want to be just like you guys. Or something like that. Why do I remember that? Because that's in the animated version as well. I will say though, the dog door. In the live action, they have a dog door for Hiccup. What I mean is, there's a regular door. A regular door. Right. See that closet? Right. This is a regular door for a Viking, right? Hiccup has a small door, like, up to here. Here. He uses this height, this wide, that he uses to enter. He has his own doggy door. That's funny. That's a funny addition. But it's not a How to Train Your Dragon film without inconsistencies. What do I mean is, alright, he has a dog door. That means he's unable to actually pull or push the big main door, right? The whole door. Alright, but why in the final scene, the final chapter, I'll call it final chapter, like where Hiccup wakes up and has a prosthetic leg, right? He gets up and walks to the door. He pushes the big door. The live action, he pushes the big door, not his doggy door. So if he's able to push open the big, proper door, why does he have a doggy door for him? Why? Is it was like a joke made from the Vikings saying, hey, here, Hiccup, here's your doggy door. Even though you don't need it, here, just have it because, you're tiny and it's funny. just insulting Hiccup even more in the live action. Even though I believe the purpose of... someone said it. I don't know if it was true or not. They tried to... the director of the film tried to have Hiccup be used less as a leverage and just more like he didn't want the Vikings to keep insulting him and using him as a leverage, right? Whereas in the animated version, there's literally a scene where Stoic says, "Who wants to go to the dragon nest with me?" Everyone was like, "Nah, I gotta pay my axe returns, that stuff." And then Stoic says, "All-right, whoever stays back, gotta babysit Hiccup." And everyone's like, "Yeah, me, I wanna go." We don't get that scene here, by the way, in the live action, which is... why? Once again, why? But even though they try to avoid using Hiccup as a leverage in live action, there are still characters insulting him. Even Astrid, who's actually the nicest towards him in the animated version, which boggles my mind. Oh yeah, back to the dining hall scene where, the babysit Hiccup joke. What we got instead in the live action, which I thought was a good scene. I will say it's a good scene, and it's where he actually explains why there's diversity in Berk. Because we see there are black Vikings, there are, if I recall, Asian Vikings. I could be wrong. Diverse Vikings, right? And Stoy actually explains why there are these diverse Vikings. I think he says like, you, the chief, or like not the chief, like the warrior of this land, sail to Berk, and all these warriors from different countries, different lands came to Berk to take down the Dragoness or something like that. Like he actually kind of explained. All right, that's cool. I just prefer the babysit Hiccup joke. That's just funnier and simple. Some scenes feel a bit too much like a stretch. Like, yeah, it's understandable, but like, it's way longer than it should be. Alright? Way longer than it should be. Borderline, what I'm saying is, lots of the humor in the film, especially surrounding Hiccup, is not here. It's just not here. There were some that stayed. For instance, the iconic joke, "Thank you for nothing, you useless reptile." That's kept in. What's it kept in? You know what's sad? I started dozing off on this film when Romantic Flight began. It was becoming too much of a slog for me to bear. So I don't remember if he said that line or not. He surely said the line. He has to have said the line. It was like most of the people behind the How to Train Your Dragon 2010's favorite line. I watched the behind the scenes for the record of that film. And the other joke they kept is Hiccup's helmet being his mom's breastplate. Alright. But now I'm curious. Because in the first film, obviously his helmet, Hiccup's helmet, is huge. And that's supposed to be a piece of his mom's breastplate. So that means, his mom must have a massive melons. But in the second film, she's smaller than most of the Vikings here. And both of her, combined together wouldn't make up one of her breastplates we see in the first film. So now I'm questioning, because that was an inconsistency. An inconsistent point made in the second film, the first film, whatever. Does that mean, because now that we know who's Hiccup's mom and her proportions, does that mean the second film she'll be big? Possibly. She possibly might be big. She possibly might be. I mean, no way just maybe, right? I wouldn't complain, because in the books, she actually is big. She had a different name. I think her name was like Valhalla Rama, something like that. She's like as big as Stoic or something like that. Anyways, the humor in this film, You didn't have to remove some of the jokes here. They were perfectly fine. And I don't think anyone complained about these jokes. If you did, come on. Oof. My biggest critique about this Hiccup. My biggest critique. In the animated version, I'll call it the OG version. The OG version, Hiccup is scrawny. He is the weakest. He is the smallest. He's tiny. He is tiny compared to everyone else who is beefy. And yes, there are Asteroid and the twins who seem to be the same size as Hiccup, as skinny kind of. But the difference is they're fierce. Hiccup is not fierce. And that's sad, because Hiccup, he's ambitious. We get that from the intro of the film. He so badly wants to kill a dragon. So badly. He wants to be one of them. Alright? But he's limited by his disadvantages, by his physique. That he can't, well, as Gobber said, he can't pick up a hammer. He can't swing an axe. He can't even toss one of these, and it's like a rope with a rock and something like that. He can't even toss it. Hiccup was able to shoot in the Night Fury with a contraption that he made. That he pushes around like a wagon on wheels. And the weapon that Hiccup uses mainly is a butter knife. Not even a proper knife, a butter knife. Though it's not confirmed to be a butter knife, but look how big these Vikings are. You think that dagger they use as a proper actual weapon? That's a butter knife to them. He uses a butter knife as a weapon because it's the lightest weapon they have. He can't even pick up a shield even. I mean, he can, but it's heavy. It's heavy. And that makes the ending, the climax, so, like, it's so satisfying. Because instead of him trying his damnedest, and he does try, but him trying to become one of the people of Berk, trying to become them, instead, everyone in Berk became him, followed his ways. Instead of Hiccup becoming a dragon killer like the Vikings became as compassionate, as open-minded as Hiccup towards the dragons. Which is sweet. It's like, I think the message of this film is don't change to become someone that you are not. Stick to who you are. Stick to who you are. And there will be light in the end of the tunnel if you stick true to yourself. Beautiful message. Beautiful message. Okay. Now the live action. Hiccup is skinny. Though I'll say it, I am definitely skinnier than the actor. What's his name? Mason Thames, yeah. I'm definitely skinnier than Mason Thames. I mean, look at that. If I flex my muscle, oof, that's nothing. You could probably wrap my arm into like a balloon dog, you know, like these like long rope-like balloons, vertical balloons. And you see there's people like who turn to like balloon animals, whatever. You can turn my arm into an animal, like a balloon string. I don't know what it's called. Anyways, all I'm saying is I'm skinnier than him, right? So that means Mason Thames could have definitely tried to be skinnier. Even though I'm gonna say this, he was 15. He was 15 when he started playing Hiccup. Then he became 17 when he finished the role, or 16, I don't remember. Which I can respect DreamWorks for hiring an actor whose age is the same age as Hiccup in the film. Oh, I can appreciate that. It could have been skinnier, but anyways, even if he's still the weight he is, which is sort of average weight, sort of. Everyone else, every Viking in Berk, are average weight. They're all average weight. And worst of all, there we literally see in the dining hall, she has a name, Felgma the Fierce, which was already a character in the animated version, which is like this tough lady, whatever, big lady. In the live action, she is the size of Hiccup. She is, when I say size, I mean the height and the size, as muscular as Hiccup. She's the same age as Hiccup, or at least I can imagine so. And she has a prosthetic leg. Fun fact, by the way, the actress actually does have a prosthetic leg. The actress who played this character, she actually does have a prosthetic leg. So, fun fact there. Anyways, she has a prosthetic leg. And she's going on an expedition with Stoic and other Vikings to the Dragon Nest. A lady who is Hiccup's size, with a prosthetic leg, is going to the Dragon Nest. Hiccup, I couldn't blame you for your disadvantages in the animated version. In live action, I am fully blaming you. Broski, you are, I don't want to curse on this channel, you are female dog maid. You can guess what word I'm trying to say here. You are a wuss. And it confuses me of Hiccup as a character in the live action. He wants to kill dragons. He's highly ambitious. He wants to kill dragons. But then why aren't you killing dragons? We even see him pick up an axe or a sword. I won't say effortlessly, but compared to the animated version where he has to drag the weapon across the floor, or that one scene which is done wrong. Not necessarily wrong, but like done poorly in live action. Is in the animated version. You know when Stoic tells Hiccup, alright, you're gonna go dragon training, and he hands the axe to Hiccup, and each time Hiccup holds it, he drops it. I always saw that axe as a symbolism for Berk. Because I think Stoic talks about like one day the responsibility of Berk will be on your shoulders. Stoic holds the axe, and he holds it effortlessly, because he's holding Berk on his shoulders. He's holding it. He's a chief. And then when he hands it to Hiccup, he keeps dropping it. Symbolizing that he's not ready to take responsibility of Burke and the people of Burke. And Stoic keeps lifting up for Hiccup to care, but he keeps dropping it till he's like barely holding it in the air. I like that scene. Sweet scene. I don't know if it was intentional symbolism, but I always saw it as symbolism. In a live action, Hiccup holds it well. He holds it proud. Hiccup, you're not that weak in the live action. That's what made you relatable in the animated version. You're weak, you have disadvantages, you can't do things in your control. And we can't blame you for it. In the live action, we can 100% blame you for not doing better. Honestly, we could. You so badly want to kill dragons. Alright, why aren't you killing dragons then? Why? What's holding you back? Exactly. Nothing is. So it makes him... It's confusing to relate with Hiccup. Like, you could, but you can't. But we see another character could, who's your size and disabled. But you, with your full body, can't? I don't understand. You're inconsistent. Inconsistent is weird. Just done wrong. I don't understand. And yes, before someone says, actually, Hiccup could have controlled his body weight. He could have eaten more and become bigger. For the little animated version. Ever heard of rapid metabolism? I have that. Hiccup could probably eat 5 plates of turkeys. And he would have a big belly, right? But then after one toilet session, he's back to being scrawny. I question that sometimes too. Where's the food going, right? Is it going to my stomach and out? Is my body not gathering all the nutrients from the turkey? What's going on here? So it's not in Hiccup's control to gain weight and take down dragons. He just can't. Maybe the same could be said for the live action Hiccup, but bro, we see someone else like your size take down dragons. What's the deal here? What's the deal here? The other thing I don't like about this Hiccup is he's just way too awkward in this film. Way too awkward. I swear, if someone confronts him, my guy's gonna have a flabbergasted face and just stumble like, oh my god. Okay, you can do that. I'll have your house and I'll be the chief. Oh, but by all means, go ahead, please, just do it. I don't care. Hey, Burke is all yours. I don't want Burke. I don't want my house. Take it. I'll have your wife. Oh, by all means, take her. I don't like her. She's too much for me. Too much. She destroyed my pelvic bone one time. I needed 5 surgeries to repair it. Oh my god. Take her. That's not what animated Hiccup is. Animated Hiccup was, he's awkward, but he's lovable too, and sassy. He's sassy and lovable while being awkward. There's even a deleted scene where he has a proper, the grindstone deleted scene where Hiccup and Astrid has a proper conversation in the beginning of the film, which was like right after he shut down the Night Fury. Right after, they have a conversation which goes on well. I mean, Hiccup is a bit quirky and awkwardish, but he's a confident speaker. Slightly. And smooth. If you watch the scene, you know what I mean smooth. Here, live action, bro. Just get a grip, please. Get a grip. God damn. Everyone's using you as a leverage. You're just a punching bag to everyone. A punching bag. Other thing about this Hiccup, which I cannot blame the actor for, is his voice. Hiccup's voice in the animated version, the OG version, way too iconic to replace. Way too iconic. You can't at least try to sound like Hiccup. My guy here in the live action just sounds like a generic dude. A generic Boy Scout. I swear, he doesn't there's nothing about his voice. And I wish it was more expressive in the film too. He just has the same facial gesture throughout the film. Sure, there's shock, there's confused, there's a few others. Straight face. I wish it was more expressive with his face, right? I just wish he was, alright? And I get it, once again, he was 15 or 15 and 16 when filming the film, right? I get it. Still, if you're gonna replicate, remake a 11 out of 10 film, best believe you gotta try your damnedest to make the remake as perfect as the animated version. Even though it's inevitable to be the live action be inferior to the original, you could try your damnedest though. Try your absolute damnedest. They didn't. It could have 100% done better. And look, once again, I forgot to say in the intro, no hate to anyone. No hate to anyone, right? I know I may be talking smack, especially to the Mason Thames, the actor for Hiccup. Constructive criticisms, right? I'm not blatantly hating them or just scrutinizing them. I'm giving actual criticisms, alright? Passionate criticisms. You're not my Hiccup. You're not my Hiccup. My Hiccup is always going to be the animated version. I didn't say you tried. Oh, that'd be mean of me if I say you didn't try. I don't know. You probably could have done a bit better. A bit better. Maybe he will in the second film. Maybe. But the first film is magical. The OG 2010 How to Train Your Dragon, that is legendary. That is mythical. That is beautiful. And you had a chance, and I don't know, man. You could have done better. That's all I'm gonna say. You could have done better. But once again, it's more or less to blame the casting department for not casting someone who's perfect for the role. Hey, if you're gonna, like I said, if you're gonna remake a perfect movie, you best try your damnedest to make the live action as perfect as you can be, as you can. You might as well try to cast someone who's just identical, not just the face, but the mannerisms and the voice of Hiccup. So, same can be said for the side characters, which I explained in the past video, which you could go check out, by the way. Alright, and last but not least, that I'll say about Hiccup before moving on to Toothless, I have a praise for this actor. There is one scene that I feel was done better in the OG than the animated version. Yeah, that's crazy. And that is Hiccup taking a bite of the fish that Toothless spat out. God damn, that was nasty. That was nasty. I liked it. It was as nasty as it should be, especially when coming out of Dragon's mouth. Like, in the animated version, we see like a strand of saliva. Ugh. Ugh. As Hiccup takes a bite of the fish, he pulls back, and the sound effects are nasty. Here, that fish is oozing out of the meat. Oh, that's a fat boy fish. That's a fat fish. And like, around his, like, coated on his lips, and the ugh. That was good. That was well done. Little nitpick. Okay, let's talk about Toothless. Why does he sit like that in that scene? In the animated version, he stands up and he sits back on his tail like a stool. In the live action, he sits like a dog, like on his hand in front of him, and he's just. Oh, that looks wrong. I'm looking down. That looks wrong. That looks wrong. I'm doing it. Yeah, it just. Why is he sit like a dog? Come on. And design. Let's talk about design of Toothless. By the way, one of the future videos, which might be the next video, I will talk about the designs of the dragons and the sets in this film. Right? This video, I'll talk about the design of only Toothless. Could have been better. Here's my big problem. He is way too scaly in the live action. Way too many scales. In the animated version, he's mostly like 75% or no, 80% matte black. Smooth and silky. While you can see like some scales on like, his snout, under his eyes or above his ear, or his axolotl ears and some parts of his body, and like his hands. Yeah, you can see the little bits of scales. Maybe zoom in real close to his silky skin. You can see tiny bits of scale, but very tiny, right? In live action, he's just all scaly. He is scaly everywhere. No part of him is matte black, which. Why? and his eyes. I don't like his eyes in the live action. Not only are they less expressive than the animated version, they're way too green. Actually, not way too green. They're only green. Emerald green. In the animated version, it's like a combination of green and yellow. Like in some lighting, it's yellow with tints of green. And in other lightings, like mostly in the dark, it's green, right? Live action is green. It's green, like hella green. Which, yeah, it looks cool, green and black. But not as like animalistic as the animated version. Which is ironic to say since the director even said so. He aimed to make these dragons in live action more animalistic, but somehow Toothless in the animated version felt more animalistic than you. And I don't. The only animalistic part, actually no. Yeah, another thing about Toothless here that makes him less animalistic is the way he's just not so hostile to Hiccup when he's like first encounter. Well, the second encounter in the cove when Hiccup has the fish and whatever. Toothless is just like in the animated version. He's like, he's like crawling like a panther, snarling and like an actual wild animal. My guy Toothless is way too comfortable around Hiccup. He's like coming close, chilling. Even when Hiccup brings a basket of fish to put the artificial wing on Toothless' tail, Toothless is way too close to Hiccup, like way too comfortably close to Hiccup in the live action. But in the animated version, before they develop a friendship, there was distance, alright? There was distance, because Toothless didn't fully trust Hiccup yet, right? And vice versa in the live action version. Vice versa. Forbidden friendship in the live action was good. There is something that makes it not as magical and not as executed as the animated version. I can't point a finger at what. Maybe it's how the music was composed. It's the same song, it's the same music as the animated version, but it's different. Subtly different. But I don't know what. I don't know. It was. I didn't feel anything there. Oh yeah, one sad thing. I didn't feel like a child watching the live action. I was hoping I would feel like a child, but I just didn't. And now I want to talk about the test flight. Test flight. The most iconic part of the film. Test flight. The track, iconic. Animated version, the OG version, the track is downright iconic. Everyone knows the track. We all, and the scene, everything, beautiful. Perfect. One of the top, I want to say it, top 10 best scenes in animated history. I said it. Top 10 greatest scenes ever in animation as a whole. Test flight. Even Forbidden Friendship. Maybe. I don't know. It's just iconic. I hate shaky cameras. I hate why they did the same for the Kenobi show and other. I don't know, it's Kenobi show, the other Star Wars shows, and like just nowadays, why do you have always shaky cameras during intense moments? In animated version, it was panning down as Hiccup and Toothless were falling down because Hiccup accidentally latches himself off of Toothless, and they both fall down. In live action, just the camera is shaky and just like hard to know what's going on, and I hate the mute, like deafened sound music, the OST in the background. And they both fall like something like that. Whereas the OG version, the track was building up, the music track, and then something weird as balls happened. Hiccup gets in OG version. Hiccup latches himself onto Toothless, and the track kicks in when Toothless' wings goes back. He's gliding down the hill, and then boom, the best part of the track kicks as Hiccup is guiding Toothless, maneuvering past the stone pillars. Right, beautiful scene, perfect. Live action, there is no that. The kick, the beat drop, music beat drop, where like Toothless pulls wings back and glides down. If I recall, it's not in it. It's not in the live action. Or at least it doesn't kick in when Toothless pulls his wing up and glides down the hill. And then the best part of Test Flight, or the Test Drive. Oh, it might be Test Drive. Am I getting the track wrong? Hold on, let me check real quick. Oh my god, it's Test Drive. My ass has been saying Test Flight. Bruh. Test Drive then. My apology. I probably pissed off some fans out there. The best part of the music of Test Drive, the OST, when it kicks in, when Hiccup and Toothless are already maneuvering past the stone pillars. In the OG version, it kicks in when they're about to maneuver. In the live action, it kicks in the middle of maneuvering. Huh? What a weird cut. Like, you cut way too... like, the music plays way too late into the scene. That's such a simple mistake to fix. Why is that? Why? That irritated me so bad. Like, it's such an iconic scene. They messed it up in the live action. How could you mess it up? Did they even watch the film after making it? Did they even point these issues out? And if they did, they were like, that'd be too much to fix. And gotta release the film soon, so can't fix it now. But it's so easy. Just cut the Test Drive theme shorter and have it kick in when they're maneuvering past the stone pillars. That's such a simple mistake to fix. Why did they fix it? Why? And here's the thing. These abrupt cuts, not just for soundtrack, but for scenes too, happens too frequent in the live action. Which is why it feels like a slog to watch through in comparison to the OG. For instance, you know that iconic scene when Hiccup first encounters Toothless, and we get the camera pan. Like, imagine I'm Toothless, right? And his wingtip. Wait, this is actually. I'm just gonna play the scene. I'm gonna edit it in the video. Play out the scene in the animated version, Sammy. There. That scene. Alright? Alright. Now, cut into that scene how the live action did. Alright? Now. You see that? I'm not exaggerating. That's how it was cut into that scene. Why? We didn't even get to see his eyes closed. His eyes might be very much open, but we had like a split second to realize why. Why? And same can be said about the first Dragon Training. Oh, Trials of Fire. That name was changed in live action, I think. I don't think anyone ever mentioned the Dragon Training being called Trials of Fire. Yeah, that's new in live action. I'll call it Dragon Training. The first level of Dragon Training, where the teens, the gang are going against the Grunkle. When the Grunkle pins Hiccup against the ground, against the wall, and he's about to fire, and he does fire but misses because Gobber grabs him by the cheek, and he fires right above Hiccup, barely missing. In the live action, it cuts. Alright, Sammy, who's editing this video, play the original scene from the animated version right now. Alright, good. Now, edit the scene how it was edited in the live action now. You see? Weird. Why? Some of these cuts are just questionable. Like, it's such an easy issue to fix. Whoever was part of the editing department, fire their asses. Fire their asses immediately. You done the film dirty with those abrupt cuts. It felt so awkward. So awkward. And, oh, okay. There are plenty of cuts like that, but I have... This is my biggest criticism of the film as a whole. Actually, no, that's not that big. It's a huge criticism, right? Huge criticism. Which I know all of you who are watching this will say, "Oh, Sammy, you're such a nitpicky little whiny girl." But I have to say this because of how it was done in live action, it makes me believe that Hiccup and Toothless are not soulmates like in the OG. It just feels like a pet and owner dynamic that doesn't even feel like a pet and owner dynamic. It just feels like they're forced to be friends. The worst crime of this live action. Toothless feels like a side character in this film. I'm not kidding. You know those people who says, "Oh, they extended the scenes in the live action." Yeah. Not with Toothless. What scenes did they extend with Toothless? Maybe the training montage? Yeah! Scenes with Toothless were cut out. Like the one where Astrid nearly caught Hiccup and Toothless. I mean, she nearly caught Toothless, who was being covered up by Hiccup in the training montage, and right after holy smokes, right after test drive, where Hiccup and Toothless are chilling eating fish, and they find out that dragons are weak in the inside. Which, why did you cut it out? I know they're probably going to add it in the physical copy of the film. But why did you cut it out? I don't know. Unnecessary? Yeah, they cut scenes with Toothless. Toothless gets less runtime in this film than the animated version. Why? And you extend the scenes with the group, the gang, yet they have less character, if not any character, in comparison to the animated version. How did you manage to pull that off? Anyways, the scene I'm talking about that pisses me off. The final... Okay. When Hiccup is supposed to kill Hookfang, which is the monster's nightmare. The dragon that... what's his name? Snotlout drives. That he will pet and tame. In the arena, the final level where Hiccup has to kill Hookfang. He drops his weapons, his helmet. He wants to, tame the dragon, show all the Vikings they're not who we think they are. Stoic slams the fence, the cage, which triggers a dragon to enter back to his wild instinct and chase after Hiccup. And Hiccup screams, he yells as the Hookfang chases after him. And Hiccup yelling, miles and miles away from Toothless, because Toothless is still in his cove. He perked his head up, hearing Toothless that far away. And you know what Toothless does? He escapes the cove by himself. He can't escape it by himself, but he was able to escape it by himself. Run all the way to Burke and save Hiccup. Because he heard Hiccup's yells for help, yelling for aid, miles away. And Toothless ran all the way to Hiccup to save him, which he does. Beautiful scene. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful scene. Live action, practically the same, but with one stupid mistake that could easily been solved. Toothless' head only perked up after hearing Hookfang roar, as opposed to Hiccup yelling for help. Toothless, how do you know that Hiccup is in danger? You heard a dragon roar. Ruins the friendship. Ruins it. I don't believe it. I don't believe they're friends. I think they're forced to be friends. Actually, no, they are forced to be friends. The whole How to Train Dragon live action film is just answering a question of what does How to Train a Dragon look like in real life? Boom. There you go. You want to know what that scene looks like in real life? Boom. You want to know what this scene looks like in real life? Boom. It's not executed well, this live action. It doesn't feel like an actual film. It doesn't feel like it has an actual proper paced, structured story. It's all poorly done, in my opinion. It's all poorly done. Actually, it should be objective. But, if I say it, I'm going to get people running to my house with pitchforks and torches to slaughter me alive. So, my opinion, even though I'll probably get some people who are going to be mad at my opinion, whatever. Yeah, that scene, I don't believe they're friends. That ruins our whole dynamic. And the final climax, Hiccup, how do you know the dragons are weak in the inside? How do you know? Yeah, but you cut out the scene. You cut out the scene where Hiccup discovers they're weak in the inside. And yes, it was a deleted scene, which technically means Hiccup already knew they were weak in the inside. That scene does happen. After test drive, when, Hiccup discovers these dragons are weak in the inside. So that means it did happen in the film. We just didn't see it. Why? How are we supposed to assume, right? Are we supposed to watch the animated version to know that? To assume that, Hiccup, that this scene happened, but we didn't see it? Flawed movie. I'm passionate of the series, alright? Actually, no. I'm passionate of the first film. Up to the second film. I haven't watched the series yet. There's like 4. This live action is not it, man. This live action is not it. What made the film beautiful, 2010, the OG, is the whole growing dynamic of what's supposed to be a forbidden friendship between a boy and a dragon. See what I did there? Live action is forced. Heavily forced. And it's a shame. It's a damn shame. Last but not least complaint between Hiccup and Toothless. The final climax. When Hiccup is on Astrid's dragon, being flown by Astrid, and the gang are on their respectful dragons, flying to Red Death, and Hiccups give orders to each of the gang. You, distract the dragon. You, save the people of Burke, get them away from the dragon. And you, do something to Red Death. You, Astrid, take him to Toothless. Alright. He's giving orders to the people who belittled him throughout the film. Alright? I mean, technically every Viking belittled him, but it was mainly the gang that we see visually belittle Hiccup. Cool. Amazing scene. Live action, Astrid's giving orders. Why? Why? Just why? I'm not gonna bother to explain why. I might get in trouble for reasons I might have gotten in trouble in the last video. Talking about Astrid. So I'm not going to risk getting in trouble talking about why the people behind this film made Astrid give orders. Should be obvious to some people to why they did. Other than that, I probably have more to say about Hiccup and Toothless. This video will be 2 hours long. 5 hours long. Just, in a nutshell, their relationship, their bond, their friendship, is not as good as animated version. And it's not just not as good, it doesn't feel real. I don't believe that forbidden friendship scene, that iconic thing. I don't believe it. I don't believe that... I just don't believe. I'm not convinced that you two are best friends, loyal to each other, would save each other from another... I mean, you would, but not... But it didn't come across as something natural. It just felt forced. As well from the writing standpoint. How to Train Your Dragon was all natural. It was all beautiful. And the whole film centered on the bond of Hiccup and Toothless. Live action can't say the same. At least for me, it didn't feel the same. I think that's about it. Next video, I think I'll talk about the designs of these dragons and the set pieces of the film. That video, I'll be a lot nicer than I was for the last 2 videos, including this one, criticizing about the live action. Anyways, like, subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the video, and comment down below if you agree on my takes of Hiccup and Toothless in this video. If you don't, fair enough. Once again, this is all my opinion. Alright. Have a great day or night, and I'll see y'all soon. Take care.